The quantity of human beings vulnerable to top particulate contamination will be halfway by 2025 if by the government plans are implemented. Down there will be and try to restrain fume of continuous gas fires and timber burners, contamination of diesel engine mechanism will be diminished. Farmers, who include substantially evaded contamination controls so distant, will be said to buy new machinery to bring ammonium of slurry. Campaigners greet the advice, but say it does not go far quite. They blame the by the government of fleeting on hard decisions to regional councils. The by the government has been required to issue the pure air policy by an EU guideline. He's in supplement to the law that has seen the UK undertaken to trial above top levels of N dioxide contamination. Disappointed, yours web browser does not supporting the instrument minister's estimation how their plans will bring the expenses of air contamination to community by an alleged £1 trillion each year by 2020, growing to £2.5 trillion each year of 2030. They explain air contamination as the fourth largest risk to social public health following carcinoma, adiposity, and cardiac illness. The Environmental Secretariat Michael Gove told, airborne quality assurance has superior considerably with 2010 but 60 year on of the historical Pure Air Act a precise true remnant. Air contamination is manufacturing human beings bad, reducing lives and injuring our economics and environmental. The Pure Air policy sets out the inclusive activity required through all components of the by the government to enhance air quality assurance. All EU nations will include to present such plans to cut contamination, but Mr. Gove says the UK's policies will be transferred out for Brexit. The plan law will offer new powers to regional councils to gear bad air quality assurance. Several councils greet the attitude until others believe they are creature leftward to do the by the government's filthy job. Campaigners are happy, although, how the schedule will be embedded in new initial law. They clap the judgment to bisect the quantity of human beings in the UK vulnerable to levels of particulates over the Planet Public Health Organization range of 10 micrograms/m3. But they say the advice paper so far doesn't say how the by the government will transactions in the outgoing issue of NOx emissions of cars. Alison Prepare of the UK Lung Basis told, we can't miss attention on transportation as a major perpetrator for contamination. Critics as well blame ministers of fleeting the dollar to regional councils. The by the government has avoiding some potential contentious decisions. The paper promises how just the cleanest of continuous embers will be permitted to warm human beings' homes. Instead of, new stoves consisting timber burners would include to be janitor. And human beings would as well be emboldened to burn up dry timber, since it emits less particulates. Mr. Parr told the was far too obscure, will difficult pressed ecological public health commanders vary be check on wet timber in forecourts. He requested. Meantime, farmers will be back to cut ammonium emissions via the offered new agriculture financing framework named as Social Cash for Social Consumer Goods. One technically difficult question is as well recognized the deposit to microplastic air contamination and water supply contamination of car brakes and used tires tiring on the way. The by the government says it will job in world partners to study and evolve new standards. Sue Hayman MP, Labour's Dark Environmental Secretariat, told, Michael Gove has been the Secretariat of Country for Consultations, in above 25 consultations published by his division with the general poll and not a solitary chunk of initial law-driven striker. Verdant Side Company leader Caroline Lucas told, he's nice to see a policy eventually published, but the detailed information of the Schedule C very underwhelming. The by the government is with a water supply gun to put out the air contamination fire.